Welcome to the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong, and today we have another great guest. She's been helping a lot of businesses drive revenue through innovative tech solutions, which also optimizes operations and, of course, achieve great growth as well. She orchestrates and launches strategic marketing campaigns and also events, which boosts visibility, which drives client acquisitions, increases customer engagement, and, of course, enhance retention as well. She has this big passion for technology and innovation, and then she leverages that technological skill set and also her strategic marketing skill set to drive business success. So please welcome AI and IT strategist, speaker, author, Ms. CARMEN SKIPWORTH.
Yay. Thank you. I appreciate your time to have me on your show.
Hey, thanks for being here. Always a joy speaking with people who has lots of great knowledge in business success, and of course, in this day and age, AI implementation as well. But before we jump into those details, share with us what's your origin story? How did you decide to become this person who's an expert in integrating AI in marketing and all that great stuff?
Yeah, so my background is in digital marketing in general. Nerdy person in general. So I started learning a little about it, and then I started to see how it could merge with with my clients and applying it into marketing. And part of what I also do is I coach women on leadership skills. And I started to see that there's a connection between the two to help women optimize their leadership skills using AI so they don't become obsolete. So that's part of my journey.
That's awesome. Was there any part of that journey where you go, this is kind of risky. Oh, people are telling me not to do this, and this is my passion. I'm gonna have to follow my kind of calling. How did you navigate through that?
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%. Because as you know, when AI started, there's hallucinations, people weren't trustworthy, which is true. You still need to, check on it. But it just kept evolving and it's just data driven. So if without data, AI isn't anything. It's like the gas to your car or electricity to if you have an electric car. And without it, there's no AI. So it really depends on the data that you provide. And the way I see it too is that if you have an assistant in general, because AI is kind of like your little AI partner assistant, do you give an assignment to your assistant and just let it roll without checking over it? So a lot of people make that mistake and they say, oh, this was just generated by AI. I'm going to submit it or I'm going to use it without checking it over. So that's what I always tell people to do, to double check to make sure it's right. But the info it has is it just saves you so much more time than even if you didn't use it. So that's
Uh, there's lots of people out there who are thinking that, especially in the marketing space, where the idea of marketing is, oh, we have to have a logo, we have to have posts, so we have to have visuals and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of that stuff now can just basically be generated by AI. We're seeing that on social media all the time. There's talk about, oh, the person who's creating logos, well, that job's going to be obsolete very soon because AI is going to take over. Do you see that how much of that is true where the marketing role is getting diminished and the designing role is getting diminished, or are people able to really take AI and enhance the whole marketing department?
yeah, very good question. I would say what you had said, that it enhances your marketing because you have more resources that you can use. AI can help you schedule. So the mundane tasks that's involved with marketing can just be, gosh, it can be, I wouldn't say eliminated, but it can automatically schedule. It can help you create your posts. It just enhances everything. Like I would even say 100%. There are a lot of marketing companies that are now solopreneurs. I mean, they don't need all those other people to do it, which to your point, is it eliminating jobs or not? Um, I would say yes and no. And what I would advise is that some people say, well, I'm not going to use AI, because I just think it's, like you said, you need to check it. I don't have that time. I'm used to all this. But people who have gravitated over to it have found that they save enough time, increase their revenue, lead generations improve. So for those that say, it's going to eliminate their job. It will eliminate their job if they do not use it. So a lot of the companies are looking for um, people who have these skill set. So a marketing company may not use a whole band of people, but what they would also do is also subcontract out to other people who know those skills so that the actual business can focus on getting more business. So very good question. But that's my big advice to a lot of companies.
Now, with a lot of people who wants to understand a little bit more about AI, whether you are right knee deep in it or from a high level, you should have some sort of at least knowledge or background information on how it works, so that when you do, let's say, hire somebody to come in or hire a company to oversee things, you can at least understand what they're talking about. So when it comes to people who just wants to get introduced to it and get started, how would you advise them to start? Like major data dump all at once, or okay, try this first. Once you're comfortable with this, go to the next one.
Yeah. So are you speaking of with a marketing agency or any sort of business?
Let's say both, like for anybody out there, whichever the management level, and then also in the marketing side.
Yeah. So yeah, whether you have an accounting firm or even just if you're not even in business. So let's say you're a marketer working for a marketing company, or let's say you're a reporter, things like that, you want to do background check. Um, Most people go-to place would be one of the either ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, any of those. They would start kind of talking to those chats. And that's, I would suggest, a good way to start. But again, double check. And then by using that, I think right now, a lot of the marketing tools, for instance, already have AI instilled in it. So if you use HubSpot, there's an AI component to it. Microsoft Bing, like for instance, when you're on there, there's Copilot. So there's ways that you are already using it and not realizing it. So let's say you use Go High Level for your marketing, there's an AI component to it. So what I would suggest is to go and start, using some of it that's already in there. Salesforce even has AI in it. So that's a good way to start assimilating it in. And then I would also suggest, because a lot of people do use either Grok or ChatGPT to help envision things, but the tools are already have AI in there. People just don't realize they're already kind of using it, but you can enhance it even more. So, but yeah, it's kind of an incredible time for technology for sure.
There's another well, somewhat confusing element to this, and that is who owns it. So, for instance, back then when people are designing logos and they're coming up with campaigns and all that kind of stuff, technically the person who created it or the company that created it has the ownership of that material.
Right.
If you write a book, you have the ownership and copyright of that book. But people out there right now are using ChatGPT and all this AI stuff to come up with logos, to come up with books and articles. And is there actually copyright rules when it comes to utilizing that stuff? And do they actually own it?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And it's still being discussed. Because we're kind of still out in the Wild West with it, even though it's coming in terms of controlling privacy. Like the other day, what's her name? They just created this AI actress,
Yeah.
and she's so real. I don't know if you saw her. Um, I was thinking, is that the person? And it was Dutch by a Dutch company, and the question really is like, well, who owns it? And she's getting offers to act, you know? So it's still kind of out there in the Wild West, but for instance, in your case with the book, it's you say it's copyrighted, but nowadays they ask you, was this written by AI? And they'll say, was it written 100%, a little, much, so that I guess you can kind of see, but it's hard because I saw an interview the other day, and I think it was David Balducci who he saw some of his books being replicated in his own word, and he is trying to sue, but who do you really sue? And so he's out there trying to maintain everyone's copyright and privacy. So to your answer is we're all still working on it. Um, and then the logo, I haven't really heard a lot of, as long as you're not copying someone's logo 100%, I think it's okay. But I haven't heard a lot of, I mean, it's sort of like a designer in a sense that does it. You just have to make sure you tweak it and you just, even without AI, there are some logos like the Apple. Someone had used an Apple, they're not even computer. I think they were just like a donut shop or something, but they had like the Apple picture and they got sued for it. And that was before AI.
Yeah.
So I think you still will have those issues. And the question, like you said, is who do you go after for that? And that's the big question that we're still trying to figure out.
Yeah, because even for the Apple's example there, somebody created that Apple logo and owns the right to that to use it, right? So therefore,
Correct.
they're able to sue because they own it. But then with AI, well, yeah, who really owns that image? If you prompt the same thing, probably you can come up with the same thing, right? So it's very difficult to see who to chase after. And do you what? How do you see a solution to that? Because that might be some of the what it got some of the bottlenecks as to whether somebody uses AI or not, right? They might be afraid that somebody might steal their image, they might be afraid of being sued, but then who do they go to and all that kind of stuff. So how do you protect yourself from that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And again, it's being discussed in OpenAI. As you can are aware that they are constantly, I don't know if the word sued, but being asked this question. And does AI sometimes create the same logo? Probably, right? I mean, there was a time where if you said create a picture of a guy talking to a reporter in a store, it was, and they even warned everyone. That same picture of that one guy appeared in everyone's search that particular day. So how do you protect that? That's a really good question, and they're working on it. And at this time, it's hard to say if someone comes after you for it. Um, I don't know who would win it or not, and if it's replicated, but I think it's still out in the frontier, and it's difficult to decide who to go after. It's a really good question.
Right.
Um,
Now,
yeah.
now you're a person who's been able to help a lot of businesses implement AI and either to help them increase their retention, increase their exposure, visibility, all that great stuff. Do you have any case studies or examples as to a client that you've worked with? You don't need to name names or anything like that, but then just examples of, okay, this is what they were doing before, and this is what we're doing now, and here's the big difference, and either time savings or money savings. What was it?
Yeah, so I'll use marketing for example, as that's what my skill set is. So I've turned a lot of companies now into using AI for scheduling, producing content, um, lead generation. I mean, there's so many things that there's voice AI as well, which a lot of people kind of don't like, but at the same time, from a business perspective, it just saves you time from making those phone calls where it's sort of like having the chat on your website. Some people don't like that either, but in a sense, if you just want to ask a price or your availability, I mean, this is where AI can just save you a lot of time, right? Instead of having a person sit there, and I'm sure the person's really bored about answering the same question over and over again. But scheduling posts, creating content, I had a company that probably 10x its revenue because of the content it was producing, scheduling before. I think they were probably spending, gosh, over, I mean, too many hours, and they cut it in half by using, and then the person who was scheduling all this was now able to go out there to be more creative because one thing AI is not creative. So this person was able to spend more time in the creativity part and make this company expand even more and offer more programs because they were not focused so much on the mundane part of How do I create this? And then, for instance, Canvas right now, which a lot of people use, has an AI component to it too. So it's just exponentially increase a lot of the businesses' profitability. And like I said, it's a lot of more creativity out there, even though people say AI is destroying it, it actually isn't because people are spending more time creating.
Very, very well said. You mentioned about the voiceovers, that some people may or may not like that, the chatbots and all that kind of stuff. Now, there's this saying where, okay, the whole success of a business is relationships, is that connection with the customers, the connection with your client. Now, some people are turned off by the connection with a bot or a fake voice and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is that happy median where, okay, this much automation is good, and then you really need to have a real person here,
Yeah.
versus having the real person at the beginning? Like, where's that balance?
Yeah. So what I do with my clients is for just the generic questions, like for instance, they're having a sale, let's say they're having a sale on 10% off or something. So that's a great way either by texting, which is now overtaking email. So automating your text or even automated voice calls. So for instance, a text will say, hi, and it's very personal too. So it could say, hey, Carmen, wanted to let you know we have, 25% off our rugs or something. If you're interested, let us know. And then you can either say, press one for more, or sometimes you don't. It's just sort of a way to let people know. And they don't even know, right? And sometimes with the voice, it comes and it sounds so real these days. I mean, I don't know if you've ever had one, but it's almost like telemarketing. And you still just won't talk to a human who's calling you anyway, right? So, whether or not it's automated or an actual person, we just don't like those type of calls. But it does save the company a lot of time and effort. And believe it or not, it actually does work. People will say, yes, I'm interested in reducing, for instance, my mortgage or something like that. And it will lead you to an actual person. So it kind of weeds out the sales part of it, and it just answers the simple questions that you're asked that, you know, I mean, how many times like a salesperson would make a call and ask these questions and then get hung up and get hung up and get hung up. Whereas this way, you're actually getting the real leads that come in, and that's the human part of it. So the automated robot, as you'd say, will not close the sale. The human part will do that. So I think people are becoming a little more accepting of it. I mean, at first I was also the same thing. I'm like, well, I don't want that. But then at the same time, as I saw the success of a lot of the companies, and even when I received the calls, I'm like, oh, well, that was great. I didn't have to talk to anyone. And now I've renewed my subscription or something strange, right? So plus and minuses, there are people who don't even go on the internet these days or don't even use cell phones. And those are the people that probably will not accept the technology. But the time that you save and the sales you make outweighs not using it.
I'm one of those where if I know what I need when I'm calling customer service or something like that, I wish I could just go right to a person because I
Yeah,
understand that, yeah, all that beginning stuff is to kind of weed out what exactly you need and connect you to the right person. But when I know exactly what I want, I like to have that option of, hey, speak to a real human. So
right.
is that
Yeah,
something
so
that people need to implement on there? Because I've called certain places where it's just on repeat. You go through
I
the
know.
menu, and then all of a sudden, they're like, hey, there's no option to pick a real person. You go all the way back and you just listen to it again.
Yeah, no. And then even like airlines, I mean, so what I've noticed and I've recommended for mine and what we've implemented is always have that bypass zero. If you press zero, it just sort of bypasses and goes to a human being. Because sometimes you are making that second or third call
Yeah.
and you don't need to spend that 5 minutes or so or whatever going through that. But so I always try to implement a zero or another number so that they could bypass all those questions and go straight to a human because I totally agree with you to that too. I go, gosh, do I really want to call someone?
Now,
Yes,
when it comes to budgeting, like for a company of, let's say, small, medium, large, whatever
right.
examples you would like to use, is there a percentage of what they should dedicate to AI technology, let's say marketing, branding, and all that kind of stuff, right? Because usually you go, okay, X amount of percentage goes towards marketing and branding. Now, does that marketing budget now kind of go towards AI? Or do you have to
Yeah.
increase the marketing budget to include AI?
Yeah, I would say a little of both. But by including AI, you're actually saving money, believe it or not,
Mhm.
because of the time um, the marketer spends on it is less because of the AI is doing majority of the work and they're becoming more creative or doing other things that are on your to-do list every time you come in. It seems to grow and grow. But with AI, we find that people are saving more money by implementing AI because of the time that you spend on it is less, right?
Yeah.
You're not, yeah. So even in finance or any of the other companies, like QuickBooks, for instance, has AI in there too. So, and some people have even taken on to do it themselves, and it saves them a lot of time as long as the data is inputted in there. Remember, data is the fuel for AI, and it saves them exponential amount of time and saves them money and increases sales. So it's all a nice domino effect for the business.
When you get asked to speak with different companies and different CEOs and management, have you found any, let's say, negative feedback or confrontation when it comes to implementing certain things? Because let's say you get past the management level and they go, okay, now speak with the employees. Some of the employees might be thinking, well, yeah, there goes my job, kind of thing, right? So have you witness that type of like feedback when you're consulting?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sometimes people hire me because they want to use the AI. And sometimes I find there's some companies who fight back and I'm thinking, well, why are you hiring me if you don't believe in it? Right? So they're like, are you sure? What do you think of that? So I do get some kickback. I get a lot of questions on it, and I actually walk them through. I don't just make the suggestions sometimes. I mean, I map out the strategy, the tools that they would need to use, and then I would walk them through them with it so that they learn that it's just not about, oh, I'm just going to use this tool and that's it. I'll go through with them. And so they can see how it actually works. And then they're most of the time, I would say they're just like, wow, amazed at, wow, I didn't know I just saved, a couple hours right there. How come I didn't know about this before? So the tools are there, but how do you use it is key. And that's where I come in a lot too, because they say, well, I have Salesforce. I can learn it myself. And the next thing you know, I get a call like, well, I'm not quite sure. Can you, tell us how to use? Because AI is so powerful now. It can do so many things. It's just a question of how do you utilize it for what you need. And so that's where my utility comes in. I save them time also from learning how to use it. So
No,
you
there's
still
a
need a human.
right. Now there's a lot of those scenarios where they love everything. They go, yeah, that sounds great. Yes, I'm gonna save money. Yes, I'm gonna be able to do things faster. I can focus on other things, but they still don't follow through and go with it. What is the main reason why there's still a blockage?
Yeah, so I would say for that is maybe just the acceptance of sometimes they go in with a mindset of going, well, God, this is not going to do it. I'm not going to see it. And so when you go in that way, you're not going to gonna be sort of like when you play a sport, right? And you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna lose this game. This person's too good for me. And so you're not gonna do your best on it, right? You're just kind of going knowing you're gonna lose. So people with that mindset, I say, hey, think about it. You could save all your money. You could, design more things. And so those people I notice will actually really excel with the AI in their business. And those that say, well, we tried it, but somehow, we spent more time and lost money. And I said, well, did you do XYZ, for instance? And they say, oh, I didn't know you're supposed to do that. So it's also learning about it. And, I like to emphasize how that's the human component part of
Mhm.
it, that AI is not all there for it. So that's what I would say is that yes and no. We do have a lot of companies that resist it. But once they figure it out, they're just like, wow, how did I not get to this long time ago? So. Yeah,
Well, if anything, AI is creating a lot of positions in the speak AI area where they're able to convey the message that AI can do to somebody else who doesn't really understand it yet, and to
yeah,
help people implement it. So there's going to be a lot of those roles coming up in lots of companies because companies are going to hire that person to be the liaison between the two. So I guess
right,
that's one position that's going to be new for the near future.
correct.
When it comes to uh, your implementation of AI in your business and then also in other people's business, what is the very first thing that people should do
In implementing AI,
in implementing? Like, what's the very,
yes.
is it chatbot? Is it the scheduling? Is it the, like, how do people ease into it?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people have chatbots. So that's the number one thing. Lead generation probably would be the second part where they capture, and we're talking about websites, I
Yep.
assume, right? So the part where contact me or now that's a lot more, excuse me, AI generated now, where it's more personal to you. And then the chatbot is, I mean, it's come a long way. I don't know if you remember, chatbot's been around for quite
Yep.
a while. Now they're just so much more interactive. We've had a lot of businesses who close a lot of sales because of the chatbot, but not the chatbot closing the sales. Because if they have a question on the website and it's 24/7. So think of it that way. You can get I mean, there's so many times that I'm so busy during the day that I do a lot of my work in the evening after hours. With a chat bot, they answer your questions 24/7. And so sometimes it'll answer all the questions that I need and it'll refer to a salesperson. And the next day, I got a salesperson that called me about it. And so that in itself has saved, I mean, I've seen a lot of like maybe 20, 25% sales increase by just having a chatbot on there. That's more personal. It's not like the old days of a chatbot. They're more personal than now that just say, oh, hi, blah. They really answer specific questions on what you want about the product.
Awesome. Now, I know you have a book out. How did you get towards writing the book? What's it about? Why should people get
Yes. Well, funny enough, I got my proof the other day. So
it?
you can see it.
Well,
Here it is.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm having my book launch in LA in a couple weeks, October 16th, in the Barnes& and Noble at the Grove in LA. So the story behind the book is that so I've been in I wonder if you can see now. I've been in marketing, as I mentioned before, many times, and I have been involved my whole life in just promoting women. I'm on the board of women organizations like Junior League, Women in Defense, which I mentioned, and mentored women. And this is something that I do on the side, volunteer on the board. And the industry that I was in before was the defense industry, which is predominantly male. And so I somehow just realized that I've been helping women and just seeing them, succeed it's just amazing. And one day someone said, "Well, why don't you write a book and try to help other people and start." So that's what started this book. I never ever dreamed that I would write a book. Never ever was on my list of things to do. And so people were just so happy that I have this out because it's something that I've been doing for years and years and years. And now I'm just so happy I can help other people that are not within my circle or people that I come across. It'll just go out to whoever picks up this book will get the basics on leading with intelligence. It's called Lead with Intelligence. It's a women's guide to thriving in the age of AI. So I give a lot of tips on using AI, tips on how to lead, to be a true leader. Um, and imposter syndrome, I'll just give you a little part about it, is a huge thing for women. Just historically, I think it's just the way it has been back in the days of cave days. But we're now coming out of that and just trying to reprogram ourselves, to be leaders because we have a lot of great leaders right now, but a lot of women that I coach don't realize that they have what it takes to go ahead and lead. So it's just really incredible to see the success I've had with a lot of women, and that's what I hope to do with my book.
Well, that's a testament of listening to the demand, right? When people are asking you,
Yes.
"Hey, what about this? What about that? You should write a book." Yes, I should.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, you know what? I might as well do it. So, and then so as part of it, I do coach women as well with the AI part of it, but also bringing out the leader within them to empower women to lead is the whole goal of the book.
Well, now that you mentioned the whole leadership aspect of things and how women are able to like break through and take on more leadership role, what is the biggest blockage that women have when it comes to leadership roles? And what would you say is the best way for people for them to overcome that?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, in part of my book, I have a whole chapter dedicated to imposter syndrome, and that's where women subconsciously, I wouldn't say it's conscious, think like, oh, well, I'm not good enough, or no, I won't qualify for that. Usually a male takes that position. So I teach them to be confident and to believe in themselves and to get out of that mindset of, well, why should I apply for it? For another job or another position, or why should I take the lead in this team? This person's doing, even though they're not doing a great job. I also have great ideas. So my book teaches them how to overcome that. And again, a lot of it is subconscious. You don't think about it. It's sort of like, well, I don't think so. It's just really a quick passing in the mind. And what I do is just say, hey, you have what it takes. Just do it. And so I've seen women just lead teams to success because of it. Sometimes they're in a position where they say, well, I don't think my teammates would like that. And I said, if you believe and you have the confidence in it, you can do it. So,
Very, very powerful stuff there.
yes.
When it comes to AI and implementation, what do you foresee happening in the next few years? Now, we know technology goes really, really fast, right? It only like the last few years now, ChatGPT has already gone to 4 or 5 different versions, and each version is like astronomically better, faster, and more effective. So, what do you think is going to be waiting for us in the next couple of years here?
Oh my gosh. It's mind-boggling, to be quite honest. I don't even know how to go. It's really strange. So, sci-fi films, right? Star Trek. I mean, it's bizarre. Like,
I
were they
can't wait for
thinking?
teleportation.
Right, 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 right. That's the next one, right?
I want to be Snap and I'm in Hong Kong. Snap, I'm in
I
LA,
know,
something like that. So
right? Forget those airplanes and everything. I mean, it's just incredible with the sci-fi. I just see so many like, whoa, didn't we see that somewhere before? Like, were they visionaries in all this or not? I don't know. But I think it's just going to be think with robots. But I have to admit, I would love to have a robot cook and clean for me and do the laundry, right? Think of how much more free time I'd have to really enjoy, things in life. So it's hard to predict. Is it going to be like the Jetsons? I don't know, but we really seem like we're getting Star
that's
Trek
funny.
Jetsons a little
That's
bit
funny.
with our
You
little.
mentioned the food, and the first thing I was thinking in the back of my mind was the Jetsons, where they punch in a thing and then opens up, and then the food's right there. I'm like, ah, she mentioned Jetsons.
I know. So, I mean, it's all becoming a reality, is my point. So it's just, I don't know where it'll be, but I mean, in my mind, I think it's great because it is making life a lot easier for us. Traffic is horrendous. So I like the fact these self-driving cars are coming, and it really is just the sensors in the car. So I was saying, gosh, imagine, traffic's horrible, but it's usually because there's always a slow person there or there's an accident. But with all these sensors and the cars all going the same, I guess, speed, there'll be less accidents, less traffic, and we can probably do a lot of work in our car because it's self-driving. Of course, this is way, way, way in the future, so don't go do this at home. Go out in your car and assume your car is going to do it all. We're still not there yet. And I was joking the other day with someone, and I said, gosh, I don't know when, maybe our great great grandkids are going to be like, wow, you drove a car? What was that like? They're like, how do you drive a car? And I'll be like, isn't that bizarre, right? That I think we're going to get to that point where we won't drive our car, and the kids of then will be like, if we're still alive when it does happen, what was it like driving a car? Oh my God, so many people died driving a car. Were you scared every time you drove? So technology is just, AI is just advancing, like you said, in quantum leaps, I would
Mhm.
say. Yes.
Now, for you, you've done a lot of great things. What's the next
Yeah.
big thing aside from the book being launched? What's the next big thing that you're like foreseeing?
Yeah. So, I foresee with the book that I will have a lot of coaching. I'll probably do a lot of speaking engagements about it. I'm trying to empower more women to accept AI and to realize that they have the power within them to lead. And so that's my part with the book is to help women. And actually, it's not just women as well. I mean, men can also read and learn about leading. And I have a lot of great tips about AI in the book. So I think maybe more speaker engagements, and coaching is what my goal is with this and just empowering more women.
And when it comes to the coaching aspect and also helping businesses implement AI, what type of clientele are you looking for? Like, what's the perfect fit for you?
Yeah. Well, the perfect fit would be a business that's looking to scale, and being accepting of different ideas and new ideas, because technology is changing too, right?
Yeah,
So I'm learning at the same time when things are changing, who have an open mind. And then for the book and coaching are those that are ready to transform and realize that they have what it takes, or those who are stuck. I mean, there are so many people out there who just say, I just don't know what to do. This is all overwhelming, but I know I need to do something. So those people would be great, or women. And those that are like, hey, I'm ready to take the next level up. Where do I go from here? So I go from all different spectrums of it. And then for the business, I just love the business part of it too, just because when they come back to me saying, oh my goodness, we, 10x or 50x our sales this month or this quarter, and it's just like, and they said a lot of them like, why didn't I know about this before? Why was I resistant to it? And that's one of my message is that don't be afraid of AI. If you do not learn it or implement it in some way, you will lose out, and your business could either go down or you yourself will become obsolete. So that's my answer to that.
now, you mentioned, and we mentioned before, how fast things change. For
Yes.
somebody yourself who's right in there in the space, how do you keep up? Like, is that something
Yeah.
that you read every single morning? So, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? I was like, oh, now every morning's not enough. Every 5 minutes I have to read something. So, like, how do you keep
Yeah.
up with the advancements?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. I do read a lot. I do have a lot of good people in my circle that I'm also on the Forbes Business Council, so we also collaborate a lot. As a matter of fact, it's so funny. I literally just finished the book and I already have an idea for my next article on there. And it just kind of pops in. I'm just so, I think when you're in the sort of like you and yours, you just are so involved in it that I'm constantly reading books, I'm listening to audiobooks, I'm talking to my friends. So, and it's weird because sometimes I feel like I'm not up to speed with things. And then it was funny the other day, back to the AI actress. I was just talking to someone about the actors or even authors. Um, More so with them being concerned about their jobs and how do you, like you said, copyright their image because people are using it or tweaking it a little bit. More so than because people think the admins are the ones that would be the first ones to go.
Right.
But right now we're seeing it more on the side of, authors, reporters, whatever. Um, and for the admins, it's an easy fix for them, right? They just need to implement the tools. If they
Yeah.
can't, contact me and I can help them, figure out how to implement it because it is overwhelming for someone who is tech resistant or not open to it, or even someone who is. There's a lot of it. It's like a fire hose. I mean, like there's so much info. Where do you begin? And that's where I go. But so it's interesting times, and I just love what I do.
Mhm. So, for somebody like yourself who's that immersed into technology and innovation, do you unplug?
Good question. Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. Sometimes it's difficult, but I love the great outdoors. So golf and hiking. So I do go to nature is how I how I unplug. I was going to say reading, but I do read technology. So that wouldn't count. But I do enjoy the outdoors on beach walks, and hiking. And that's, just getting back with nature is a good way that I unplug and hang out with friends and stuff. It's really important. And that's one thing that I do tell my clients is that AI can isolate you too, because, right, you have all that info there. Make a point to see your friends, And it was funny on I was doing a questionnaire somewhere and it says, how often do you um, make a point to meet your friends? And so one would be like once a week or once a month or hardly ever, right?
Mhm.
So I do at least weekly, right? And so I did there, and it was only 20% of people that t reach out to their friends to meet weekly. And most people, it's monthly or quarterly. And I was really surprised at that. So I don't know if that's because of AI and technology, or we're still getting out of COVID. I don't know. But it is important to have the human component of it
Mhm.
is also one of the things. Even though I talk about AI a lot, I do say make a point to have the human connection.
Yeah, I think that's very, very important as well, because without the human connection, it's sometimes th- there's something lost, right?
Right.
I could be sitting here talking to a bot and asking all these same questions, but the engagement's just not the same. It's not the same as talking to somebody that's real. And it would be even more amazing if we were face to face in a
Right.
room sharing
Right.
coffee, right? So you
Right.
can't replace that.
No, absolutely not. But this is good too. We can reach out to more people this way too. But yes, yes. One day, if we're in the same town, we'll meet for coffee.
When we go snap and I'm right there. So
Right, right, right. Star Trek.
any final words from you? What's the a message that you would like everybody to remember Carmen for?
Yeah, so I think I will reemphasize throughout my interview too, where I say, don't be afraid of AI. If you don't use it, you will become obsolete, but be very careful when you do use it. Don't think it has all the answers for you. Like my example of an assistant, would you think of AI as your assistant. You won't let your assistant do everything for you without you looking over and approving it. So but think of everything you can do with AI and how you can save a lot of time, increase your revenue. So that would be my last word to everyone is, at least play around with it, use it. And to your point, what we said before, make time for nature and your friends and family.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Great words to live by. Before I let you go, I got five quick rapid fire questions for you. Give me the first thing that comes to mind. All right.
Okay.
So you're stranded on a deserted island, one food to eat for the rest of your life, no consequence.
One food to eat
One.
on an island, but like is it microwavable, cookable? I know it
Well,
sounds a little
no. Hey, we're
sashimi. Okay, sashimi.
perfect.
There you
Perfect. I was gonna say
go.
Jetsons again. You can press the button and it shows up.
I know
So
that's why I
but you
was
could it's
wondering.
only one button and only one choice. So anyway, sashimi. Hollywood calls and goes, "Hey, Carmen, we love your story. Very, very inspirational. We would love to do a biopic of you. Who would you cast to play you?"
Oh my goodness, that's a really good question. Who would I cast to play me? Oh, that's a really tough question. Gosh, I gotta think of an actress, and no one really comes to mind. Gee, sorry.
Well, the new AI person's available.
I know, right? I would just do an avatar. How about that? Can I just use myself as an avatar and see if people would notice?
There you go. So you have an AI avatar of yourself playing. Yeah, perfect. So it does your entire lifespan, showing
Yeah.
yourself as a young person all the way up to your current age, and then also later on.
Yeah.
So
And
awesome.
to your point, remember the movie Benjamin Button?
Yep.
That was even a little bit before AI, but that was a lot of technology that made him young and old.
Mhm.
So that would be really cool to see what AI would be able to do.
Awesome. Well, the person who has to program that needs to get to know you a little bit more because it's going to be very difficult to just go, "Hey, here's the avatar, go," right? So they have to
Right.
come
Yeah.
in and go, "Hey, let's
Yep.
share some stories. Let's get to know you. What does that night look like to you? Like, where do you take them to get the greatest kind of feel of who you are?"
Yeah. Yeah, I would highlight and again, data is everything. And what's really interesting is that all the data you put in, it'll remember. So I would highlight things that were important in my life, right? So starting, I guess, I don't remember when I was born, right? So to an age where you began. And I would go through my childhood. My parents immigrated here, so I would go through that. I would go through school, what brought me to today, right? Like, how did I become the person I am today? And
Mhm.
that's some of it in my book, so I don't want to give it all away. But just highlight so that people, and that's why we like reading biographies sometimes.
Yep.
Like Warren Buffett, like, wow, what made him the oracle of stocks and things. So like, what does he have that I don't have? So he would highlight his humble beginnings. So I would do that, and then how, sort of like you asked me, what made me decide to write a book. So I would highlight all that, put that in AI, and it would just spit out like in a big, nice summary more than I can. And then, of course, look it over and see that everything is correct and change things. But it is kind of neat. One way AI can make you feel good about yourself.
So there's a magic wand that will be able to allow you to do any performance or act in a circus. What would that be?
Oh my goodness. Any in a circus, I haven't watched a Cirque du Soleil, I guess.
Sure. Which role or which position or which act would you like to be able to do?
Gosh, in a circus. Let's see. Well, Cirque du Soleil, I don't know, maybe training the animals, but there are no animals anymore. Tight roping, or even in Cirque du Soleil doing all those amazing underwater
Uh,
tricks that they do. That's pretty
awesome.
cool.
Great
Yeah.
choice. One of my favorites as well. Give me a number from one to four.
1 through 4, 3.
One, two, three. So the word is chocolate.
I like chocolate.
So if you would use the word chocolate as a metaphor for success, how is success like chocolate?
Oh, success in chocolate. Well, gosh, chocolate is decadent. If you're successful, your life will be decadent.
Nicely done. So that's how success is like chocolate. Thank you very much for your time and your stories. What's the best way for people to get in touch and also get your book and all that information?
Yeah, yeah. They can come to my website, Lead with Carmen. So www.leadwithcarmen.com. And then my book is on Amazon. It will be released on October 8th. And the book is called Lead with Intelligence.
Awesome. Thank
So
you very
thank
much,
you.
and congratulations on that. And everybody out there, make sure you get her book and let's push it up to number one bestseller.
Yes, thanks so much. I appreciate the time that you have for today's interview.
Awesome. So again, she's Carmen. I'm Fong. Until next time, today is the day to lock your peak potential. We'll see you later.